Yeah. Do you need me to throw any more light out, or we good?
Yeah, this should be good.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, come on, we don't want our lighting to be better than the movie.
Well, the filmmaking's already better than the movie.
Dude, man, alright. We're actually a little late in doing this because I accidentally locked my fucking keys in the car. And that's just the second dumbest thing I did tonight. We gotta set the mood for the audience really quick, again. Because, sometimes that can very much, add to the atmosphere of a Tyler Perry movie. When we were at the first Madea Halloween movie, and it was a packed goddamn house. Like,
it was fucking everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, it was just, like, not an empty seat there. And
honestly, like, every fucking Tyler Perry movie I've been to has been, like 50% of the seats filled with, like, black couples, and 50% of the seats filled with, like, white 13-years-olds.
Yeah, because you've been to a bit more of them than I have. Yeah.
Several of these fucking things. As the site's resident Madea expert.
And unfortunately, I'm slowly crawling up there, too. But, like, so... And I remember us saying in the first movie, like, okay, no matter what we say about this, at least the audience had a good time. Like, the audience during the first movie, like, it was movie of the year for them.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh,
damn, dude.
It was fucking nuts. It was on par with, like, those movies when you go see, like, a fucking, like, particularly moving, like, Oscar-worthy movie, and people do, like, a standing ovation.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you applauding to? It's like, they can't hear you. Spielberg's not in this room.
This one, though, this was a really perplexing sit. It was such a sad audience. It was the difference is probably due to the fact that when we saw the first movie, it was like a Saturday night, and we're at the Thursday screening for this one, and there were a handful of people in there.
Yeah, well, when I think when shit, it was me and I want to say Dave that went to see Madea Witness Protection.
That was you and Dave.
I remember him going on and on about the establishing shots.
Yeah, that was you and Dave, because for a while it was you guys primarily at the Tyler Perry movies, because you were also at Temptation and Madea Christmas. The only reason why I was at a Madea Halloween, was because Sophie was just born. And here's fucking Madea Halloween too, so can't send Dave, he'll be lost.
Because you need the continuity for this one.
Yeah, oh, fuck me.
But I think even at Witness Protection, though, like, that was, like, back when these were actually being released, like, at midnight.
And that was over at Showplace 12, too. Like, I was at...
Oh, no, that one was...
Or not 12,
that was back
at 8.
Yeah, Showplace 8. And it was still a fucking packed house. Like, when I got here, there was, like, I don't know, maybe, like, 40 or 50 cars in the parking lot. I'm like... I don't think the odds are that all these people are watching Madea.
Yeah, dude, and they weren't.
But
like,
I got kind of nervous, though, whenever it's like, which theater are we? Like, oh, Theater 3. It's like, oh, good, the small one.
I was nervous, too, and I got that. I'm like, dude, I do not want to be sitting in the front row for a fucking Madea movie. So, and we weren't, because there was a couple of couples in there. There was one old white guy by himself in the very back, and then there was this family. And here's why this screening was so weird. Like, okay, we're talking about the rows and rows and rows of laughter from the first Madea Halloween movie. In this, imagine if it was just isolated to one 6-year-old kid who was laughing at every moment.
Fucking
like,
loved this movie.
Literally every moment. And it was like one piece of, like, it was like sitting there in one of those weird YouTube videos where they edit a sitcom to, like, switch the laugh track to make it sound like it's just one guy. Or in this case, this kid's laughter sounded like if you were tickling a cartoon baby. That is what this kid's, and I'm talking kicking seats, running, like, I could feel, we weren't even sitting in front of him, we were sitting way off to the side. I could feel the seat like vibrating next to me from this like 6-year-old kid who was laughing at jokes that there is no way in hell this kid got.
Oh yeah, because it was like the kid knew that when someone stops talking, that's the laugh.
Cue, man.
That's the beat. That's the beat they give you to fill in your own laugh.
Even if the joke was Uncle Joe going, I don't know nothing about them damn trees, but I sure know a lot about Bush. Imagine like a 6-year-old kid
sitting laughing wildly like, that is not a joke for you. They didn't write that for your demographic.
Or did they? Because this is made for children.
Fuck me, I don't even know, man. But yeah, it was just the weirdest fucking things, man. Because it was like, oh, that hoe over there, I'll give him my pimp hand. It's like, ha 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 ha. From this kid, it's like, what the fuck are you on?
They used to call me the mule. Do you know why they call me the mule? Why don't you just bend over and I'll show you? Man, dude. Okay, I know we say this at every... I know I've said this at every single time we go see one of these movies. I know you have too, with Dave in Madea Christmas. We say this every time as if we never thought any of these could get worse. They do. We've been texting each other throughout the week going like, I am simultaneously dreading this and I just gotta know. How is he going to impress me by being this generation's Coleman Francis? Like, it's insane. Like, and I just watched the first one again like 7 days ago for the Snob episode.
Well, that means you're gonna die tonight.
Fucking
Medea's gonna show up in your house and kill you.
You might as well. They spoofed the ring in this. So, the first one, and you guys said this. This is another thing that gets said in all of these. The next one you see is always so bad that you're always like, this movie makes that movie look like a masterpiece. You guys did that with Christmas versus Witness Protection. We did that with in the Halloween one.
But yeah, it's like every time they find one thing that they fucked up too bad in the last one and fix it, like watching like Witness Protection, it's like oh man, the filmmaking was just so inept. Like it showed an establishing shot of the house every time somebody walked from room to room. Next one we went to see, all right, cool. Dude, guys, you took care of the establishing shots, but instead you hired a cameraman that has rickety fucking hands and can't hold the thing fucking straight. Keeps like skewing off to the left while someone's talking.
I'm not
Next movie, okay, the camera, they just put it on a goddamn pole. They just set it on a tripod and told everybody to step the fuck back from it.
If there's one thing you have to give Temptation, is that at least that's like the only one of his that seemed like it had a professional cinematographer. You know what I mean? Like,
he's like, look, we don't have to pay for the star power of moi in this film, this particular motion picture. So let's hire some actual competent crew, like, and not whoever the fuck scabs we seem to be able to find on like Craigslist.
Like, not filming that movie was on Friday, well.
Looking for cinematographer, $, interested.
Yes. Man.
Like, this is either going to be a fucking snuff film, or I'm filming it, I'm being filmed, or it's a Tyler Perry film.
There are multiple times in this movie where you can see the camera. What? You can see just several times. You can see just the shadow just behind people. But
it's in focus.
It was in focus.
It's center frame. They make sure but they're not wandering the fuck off like they did in Madea Christmas.
But dude,
it's center frame. They got that lined up perfectly in shot.
Yeah, but they still find newer ways to fuck that shit up. Oh, yeah. Here's a couple of different times. One, did you notice this in the house when a character is looking off in this direction to the person they're talking to? Let's say it's Madea talking to Aunt Bam, looking off in that direction. And when it cuts to Aunt Bam, it's framed so opposite that Aunt Bam is sitting there looking in the same direction.
I frequently couldn't remember how people, like, there's 4 people sitting in a room that only has 4 chairs. And actually, one of them was like, it's 2 chairs and a couch.
Uh-huh.
And I kept losing place of where the fuck these people were.
Remember, there's a part of this movie...
There's 5 people talking, there's 4 of them sitting down, and then Tyler Perry as Brian standing up in the doorway.
Remember when Aunt Bam...
They just kept... Like, I knew where he was.
Yeah?
And, like, Joe, because he was at least in frame some of the time when it was shooting more than one person. But otherwise, like, there were just people scattered in this room. I swear to God, they kept moving those chairs around.
Okay, dude. I think the main reason why we're familiar where everybody is in this is because we have spent so much time in this den between 2 fucking movies. Do you remember the part in this movie where Aunt Bam just appeared in the back seat?
Yeah. There had been a skinny white girl sitting there, gets out of the car, cuts to a shot outside, cuts back to inside the car. Joe's still sitting there talking, I thought to himself, and then the camera just pans a skosh over, and she's just sitting there in the back seat like, what the fuck?
There is a part where 2 people are in a tent, and when you're filming a couple of people in a tent, you cut like a giant hole around it, so, you know, camera crew, sound, lighting, and all of that. First of all, this tent is bigger than the theater we were seeing this fucking movie in, but...
Like, no, buy a 15-man cabin tent for 2 people to sit in.
Dude, man.
So that we can have 5, like, gaffers on either side.
When the killer appears outside this tent with a chainsaw, the 2 characters who are in the tent, they don't run outside the door. They run through the hole that was cut in there that isn't supposed to be there, but is there because in making this movie, you need to... It would be like if you were watching a sitcom and they run through the audience to leave.
It'd be like, like one of those, like, Gary Shandling show tapes.
Yeah,
where
dude.
It's just like, I'm just gonna walk out here and talk to somebody real quick.
But at least that...
Isn't this weird to you guys? Oh, okay, I'll get back to Zoe.
That's at least self-aware. That's at least... There's nothing self-aware about this.
But yeah, it'd be like... it's like those fucking... Where they have, like, just the mobile sets. And, like, there's always, like, you know, like, oh, here's, like, the season DVD. And there's, like... a blooper of, like, you know, like maybe like the walls don't actually butt up. Like it looks like the apartment's one solid thing, but the walls just, they move it around to get the camera crew in there. Like you'll see like somebody just walk through the walls like, what the fuck?
And okay, last week Irving and I reviewed Happy Death Day, and one of the things we talked about in it is that, like, it's unfortunate. It's a pretty decent movie, but it's unfortunate that it's relatively bloodless. It's a relatively bloodless slasher movie because of the PG-13 and everything. And we brought up, like, oh, it feels like sitting there watching an edited for television movie. This movie is literally like watching an edited for television movie. I was being hyperbolic when I was talking about that last week. In this movie's case, they literally...
It is so goddamn distracting.
Yeah, they dub over... Damn, I guess, to replace it with darn?
It's hit or miss.
Like
they
seem to dub over piss at one point and shit.
I took a look, and apparently this was filmed as an R, but then Lionsgate forced them to edit it back down to a PG-13. Apparently, the first one was made as a PG-13. That's why the dialogue thing doesn't, like, show up there. I think maybe there was like once or twice it did, I want to say, but like it just seemed like it was just really bad ADR. But no, this one is like they're editing out words, but it's like they got the list of like, okay, you can say shit like 5 times and you can say damn like 20 times. Like it's like they had their like list of like when, like how many you're allotted. They're like, all right, well, we can change some of these, but not others. Because, like, you could tell it, like they would edit things in such a weird way. It's like, sometimes they would edit the word shit, but then 5 minutes later, someone would just say, shit.
Dude, in the first one, there's, like, a whole scene where Uncle Joe goes, bullshit, 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 bullshit. And they got all those shits out in one go. The sad thing is you didn't even have to... You didn't even have to dub over any of these lines. You could have just taken them out because like the first one, it is a movie that is filled with stutter acting and repeating the same lines in the same scenes over and over and over again. Look, like...
But sometimes, too, like, it would... Like, at one point, like, he said, like, it's like, that's not just shit, that's bull...
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah.
It was okay to say shit, but bullshit's bad? Okay. Well, then darn. But then, like, 5 minutes later, somebody would say damn. And some of them were just so, like, out there. Like, it's like, they were, at one point, like, in a particularly drawn-out sentence, they replaced the word fuck with nut.
Dude,
It's like, I don't give a nut.
I got a text from Gino as soon as we left the theater, which I think tells me he was also at a 7 p.m. screening for this, and must have also left during the blooper reel, because as soon as we got out of the theater, he texted me and he goes, dude, I just got out of Madea. What the fuck? I'm pretty sure they dubbed over and censored curse words in it. And that is not even the most glaring fucking flaw in this goddamn movie.
But it starts happening almost immediately. Like the first time or so, I thought maybe it was just like, oh, like the sound was weird or something.
I thought, yeah, same here.
And then once or twice, like, they do it like, it looks like really bad ADRing. Because they got, like, it wasn't like they had, like, sound-alikes go back through, like, it's like, like you're watching, like, fucking Speed on FX or something like that. Like,
Hallelujah, Mr. Falcon!
It had the same actors doing their own, like, dubbing. But, the second couple times it happened, I'm like, oh, well, that's just a really weird cut, or oh, maybe they shortened a line because it was right next to like a hard cut to like somebody else talking. I'm like maybe they just like chopped off part of the sentence and that's the best I could come up with. But then like it just starts rapid firing because most of most of the dialogue in this is just like okay, we're gonna do like a 20-minute riff sesh, just throw out shit. Like it doesn't even matter. Like, we're not going for plot, we're just going for words. So just talk.
Look.
And so they'll do that, and then they'll be like, all right, all 20 minutes, good, check the gate, we got it, put it in the can. Good.
The review for the first movie that we did has the record for the longest review we've done. It's like 88 minutes long. That's kind of partly why I'm pre-recording this. But
we try to time out at least one movie a year to line up with Al Pacino's 88 minutes.
Exactly. That was our thinking going into it. And with this one though, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure this will be a long video, but because there's still plenty of shit to talk about with this. Here's the thing though. This is the exact same fucking movie as the first one. It starts out with the same, to the point to where it starts out with the same shot. You were out getting a refill. The opening shot of this, first of all, same type of credits, same shot on the sky, panning down to the school, except in the first one's case, it was the fraternity. In this one, it like pans down and it's the girls' school. This is the same movie. He made the same movie.
I've been saying the same thing about every Star Wars. Scroll, blackness of space, planet. Oh shit!
It surprises me every time.
Like I never expect there to be a ship flying overhead in that shot.
But at least in the Star Wars text crawl, at least there's different words.
They probably still like, it's like, hey, do you still have the file for this?
Yeah.
Like saved? Like, has he still got that? It's like, yeah, shit. Like, put a 2 on it and change out 3 names. Good.
This has the same characters as the first one. It's a direct sequel. I know a lot of these, like, yeah, Medea's in them, and usually Joe, but sometimes there's kind of a revolving cast of family members. This one, it's the same cast, right down to Tyler Perry's Brian father character, to Aunt Bam, to Hattie, to Fauci Tube, to Alpha Sigma YouTube is also in this film again. And because of that, So this movie starts out, all right, yeah, it's Halloween season again. Only in this one, they're celebrating Tiffany, the bitchy daughter. They're celebrating...
Terrible person.
They're celebrating her birthday in this, which was not mentioned anywhere in the first fucking movie. Like, I think this one is I think they try getting around that by saying this one is taking place the day before Halloween.
Technically, her birthday is October 30th.
Like, all right, fuck off with that.
But that just makes it even creepier in the second one when they're like, it's like, but we're 17. I'm like, you are hours into being 17.
Oh, I'll get into that in a second. Like, so it's the same movie. The first one was about, like, the Brian needing to be a stricter parent and his style of his style of parenting versus Madea and Joe's, like, old school and new school and all that, and the daughter needs to learn to respect her dad, and then by the end she does. No, in this apparently she's not learned one goddamn lesson since the events of the first film. It's her birthday and she's giving her dad shit for not giving her a car.
Well, her dad is Tyler Perry, so how much respect can you give?
Yeah.
But B,
she's the same character though. Like,
but that's the thing, she's the same character, and we already established in the first one that she is a narcissistic, pathological liar.
Yeah.
So when she was like, Daddy, I've learned my lesson, I'll never do anything crazy again. Bullshit! You fucking know you will, you lying bitch!
And you kind of get a sense why in this movie, because in this movie we meet her mom, who is
honestly a normal person. She seemed perfectly normal to me.
But at the same time, I could see how this daughter turned into this because of how much shit the mom lets her get away with versus Brian trying to sort of be a responsible parent.
Oh yeah, no. It was the sort of thing, like, if she had grown up, like, in her mom's house, like, she would be even worse of a person. Mm-hmm. She was like that one kid that everybody knew when they were growing up, who, like, had parents that didn't really mind them doing pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, you'd go over there and, like, it's like they'd be having a beer with their dad while they're in, like, 6th grade. It's like, that's not weird. Or, like, go in the room, it's like, these are my stacks of pornos. It's like, you just have these out, it's like, yeah, I got him from my dad. It's like, this is weird.
And this is just covering the first few minutes of this movie, and this movie wastes no time
the farthest we've talked is maybe 2 scenes.
Yeah.
In. Granted, that's a half hour. These 2 scenes.
In Tyler Perry time, it's a half hour. In Tyler Perry years. Oh yeah, because this movie wastes no time in getting right to that fucking den that the first movie spent at least half its running time in. This one, same thing. Same den.
They raced there, like, to the point that whenever Tyler Perry gets to his own house, Madea and her crew are already there.
They're already there, yeah.
In, I would almost say, the exact same positions they were the last time.
Although, but slightly different, because this movie is noticeably cheaper than the first film. Like, that fake cotton ball hair shit they put on fake Morgan Freeman in London Has Fallen is award-winning fucking makeup compared to what they put Tyler Perry in this. What he's dressed as in this, not even just him, even Aunt Bam, even Hattie, compared to their characters from the first one, and Madea and Joe, looks like they went to Spirit Halloween to get a costume shop version of their characters.
It's like, oh shit, like, we ran out of time and budget, like, we can't hire our, like, effects crew, like, it's okay, I sent somebody over to Party City to buy a Madea costume.
You can see, like, Joe's, like, just wig, like, flapping,
or, like, his neck, like, the seam on his neck just kept, like, popping loose, so it looked like he had some, like, weird, like, blistering eczema. Like, oh god. It's like, I guess from being, like, supposed to be, like, a gross, decrepit old man, like, I don't know, I guess they're like, oh, that looks really noticeable. It's like, yeah, fuck it, let's just say he's got, like, skin cancer. I don't give a shit.
They also waste no time into getting to the same joke. They don't even leave the den to get to Hattie, who was the character who's like the 30-year-old playing a 70-year-old. They waste no time getting to her twerking again.
Oh yeah, they just like, they're like, okay, the things that hit, like, got this like killing it in the test screenings for the first one. Let's just throw those in all at the beginning. We hook them, and then we make them watch the rest of the film. Like, people loved the sitting there for 20 minutes. They do saying bullshit.
I'll give it the okay. Eventually we do see other parts of this house in this film, so at least that's something. But even when they do, they fail at that because they go to the kitchen, and I don't think they had the sound guy on hand during this scene because it looks like whenever we take this camera and we go and shoot something like in my kitchen, and it's echoey as shit. What the fuck?
They had the sound crew come in. It's like, well, good news, bad news. Good news, we brought a bunch of shotgun mics. Bad news, we forgot to bring any of like the muffles that go on them. It's like no muffs. Like, it's just gonna be like sound just bouncing around in here. So it's fucking gonna be awful. The levels are all over the place.
God,
like
I expect that out of The Stray, or the Dave and I saw a couple of weeks ago that had like, it had one part which is kind of that obvious sound it makes when you hit like the remove wind button and then you do nothing else to it. Like, I expect that out of that, and honestly I expect it out of this too, don't get me wrong. But this movie's way more fucking mainstream than The Stray that Dave and I went to go see over at Parkway. This is, man, God, these movies are like serving you dumpster food at a mainstream restaurant. Holy shit. And it's the same shit as the first one. It's the girls want to go off to the frat party, only in this case they're doing it at not Crystal Lake.
Which is, just to get this out there before I forget about it. Okay, so it's basically set up like they're doing it at Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And then there's a, like, guy who...
exposition dump? Is that what you're getting to?
Well, just the naming of it bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, in the Friday the 13th, you've got Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And that's where all these murders happened, and, you know, granted, not the first one, but, you know, they get attributed to, you know, prolific killer Jason Voorhees.
Uh-huh.
But it's not called Camp Jason. It's not called Lake Jason.
Oh, I see what you mean. I know where you're going.
In this one, there's this homicidal maniac that was never found after killing like 12 children, and his name was Derek. And so it's now called Lake Derek, and there's a old camp there that was Camp Derek. It's like, clearly you missed how this fucking works.
They didn't even go to the in-between and rename it Forest Green. It just hit me how asinine that is. You're right. I didn't even think about that when I was watching this.
Did they rename it after the murders?
Like, I was
like, that seems like a very morbid thing to do.
I was so numb watching this movie that watching that part, I was like, okay, so it's Camp Derek. Right on. Like, sure. And there's this whole exposition dump with Tyler Perry and his friend.
Oh, God. His best friend in this movie, UFC fighter Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, it does have some new cast members in it.
I don't know why him. And it's one of those things where it's like, you can tell that he's used to being in front of cameras, but you can tell that he's not used to saying things that aren't just tumbling out of his mouth. Yeah, dude. Naturally.
Like when Tyler Perry is showing him that newspaper clipping that looks like someone taped a piece of paper to a computer monitor. And
they're researching, and it was supposed to be like, it's like, oh no, here's this old newspaper clipping. But you can clearly see that somebody made like, it was like somebody was making like their own like zine to like hand out at work or something like that, and then they just took a picture of it, so it's it looks like a newspaper, but it is clearly just printed out on a piece of like 8.5 by 11 white copy paper.
Man, and he's just like, it's like, these are where all the murders happen. And then it cuts to his friend.
Is that where my daughter is?
Yes. Whoa. Is that where my daughter is? Like, dude.
It's like they're sitting there having like a chummy conversation. And for as big of a shithead as Tyler Perry is, at least he knows how to work with the camera when he's in front of it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not any other part of it. But at least when he's in front of a camera, like he has like at least like a stage presence.
No, he
like,
does.
Like he knows what he's at least he is doing with his body.
Uh-huh.
So like he'll be saying thing like, it's like, oh man, I don't know how you do it, man. Like being a father and their friend, I don't get it, man. It's like, it's okay. You'll get there one of these days. It's like, oh.
There was something that just
hire an actor. Why does it have
Yeah.
to be a UFC fighter?
There was something off about that guy, too, because the first time we're introduced to him in the movie, he looks at 3 of the teenage girls and he says, damn, so you're all 18 now. And that makes every single one of his lines afterwards seem sinister, and I don't think they're intended to be, but given that that's how we're introduced to this guy, and he's not a good actor, every line he has about his daughter, even when he's next to his daughter, like, I have to think, like, okay, is that his daughter, or is that his girlfriend? Like, it makes every single one of his lines just unnecessarily creepy.
Well, and it made it really confusing, too, because whenever the blonde girl, I forget her name. The blonde one that dances a lot.
Yeah, she was in the first one, too. The blonde from the first... Not Bella Thorne, but the other one.
Whenever she shows up, like, it's Tito Ortiz, the girl playing his daughter, the bitchy girl, Tiffany, and then blonde friend, who is, like, a foot taller than both of them and looks not unnecessarily older than them, but she does look older than them. Mm-hmm. And the way they're standing and the way that they're talking, I honestly thought that, like, oh, so is that, like, Tito Ortiz's, like, wife?
Uh-huh.
Because she's acting all flirty towards him. And it's like, oh, girl, you have a thing for everybody's dad. It's like, oh, fuck, she's one of the high school kids. Oh, no, I'm really reading this situation wrong. But I was more distracted because that one girl kept, like, turning into, like, frame and just hitting that fucking...
Yeah! They're hitting, like, props in the background by mistake. That's like, left in the movie.
You're filming in one giant room that has just, like, furniture around the perimeter. Mostly how any room is, generally, unless it has a table in it. Which but they're filming just for whatever reason, like, they're jammed up in this corner so fucking hard that every time she turns to talk, like, she cheats herself a little bit every time she talks.
Yeah.
And she just keeps fucking elbowing this goddamn lamp, so it's just swaying like crazy, like...
You were sitting next to me going, Jesus Christ, stop hitting the fucking lamp!
Just take a fucking step forward. Like, it's the sort of thing, like, in real life, if I was, like... If, like, I walked up to, like, talk to you,
yeah, and
I bumped into the fucking lamp, I would take a step to the side and keep talking to you, because I'm not a fucking psycho.
But again,
like, I know where I am located spatially in a 3-dimensional room. But she just keeps, like, turning and, like, fucking jacking into it. It's like when you're playing, like, fucking... like PlayStation 1 game.
Oh,
like,
dude, yeah.
Like, they haven't really figured out the character models yet, so somebody will go to, like, reach for something and just, like, blip, like, right through, like, the side of a car door or something like that. It's like, you maybe shouldn't have made this scene tap in so close to that car. And she's falling into it. And it's just, like, take one fucking... Like, that's the sort of thing, like, Jesus Christ, like, even if, like, if we were doing something, even if we didn't notice it, like, somebody, like fucking, like, Ryan would be like, hey, guys, if you could, just kind of cheat, and just, like, with your body, just kind of a little bit so that you're not hitting the fucking props. Sorry, it was just so fucking distracting.
But again, the girl, it's... again, it's the same. The girls go off to the frat party, and Madea doesn't want them to go. But only in this movie's case, it's more so like...
Even the frat guys didn't want them to go, though, to be fair.
Because of what happened in the previous movie.
Like, they show up there, we're like, hey, so you guys doing a party again this year? We wanted to do a redo. It's like, no fucking way.
No, go away. And meanwhile, long-haired, Jesus-looking dude has a stalker in this film. That's weird, because this girl... There's a girl who shows up a few times in this movie who is clearly fucking unhinged to the point to where she's going to murder him.
Oh yeah, she's straight up, like, well, she's trying to assault him, but she will end up killing this guy so that they can be together forever.
And they are, like, really not exes. Like, they flat out establish in it that they really barely went on like a date or something like that.
Like he even like mentions, he's like, it's like, we're not boyfriend girlfriend, we're not even like exes, we've never even gone out.
Yeah,
like, you got my number from someone else and you won't stop texting and calling me.
It was awkward. It was super fucking awkward.
I don't feel very good about watching what's happening here. And
in this, like, between that and the dozens upon dozens of times of characters who were like 60 years old saying they want to fuck a 17-year-old.
Happens a lot.
Even after they find out certain characters' ages, like they'll say like, oh, well, sorry, never mind. And then it'll cut to another scene, cut back, and he'll go right back to like, hey girl, I'm just gonna bend that ass over. Like, damn, bro. Like, and plus, you know what?
There's a lot less innuendo about it too.
Yeah, dude.
It's like that one guy, like, it's like, all right, I've got an idea to throw out there to you. You seem uncomfortable with this so far, so I got 2 words for you. Let's bang. She's like, what? No, gross.
Oh, like in this, like in the first one, when Madea goes to find the girls, and then this prank war happens. In the context of that story, it makes sense because Medea's the babysitter, and the girl sneaks out, and there's this whole issue of parenting there and all that. In this, it kind of came across more so like, this is kind of none of your fucking business.
Yeah, like, she heard about, she heard about their plan to go, like, sneak out, but the fact is, like, her and all of her friends are 18, like...
Yeah?
They can kind of just do that if they want. Like, they kept treating it like being 18 is like, you're still a child! It's like, no, legally speaking, she's an adult.
And she had permission from one of her parents.
Yeah, it's like, she's staying over there with her mom, and her mom says it's cool if she goes out. Like, this isn't even sneaking out anymore. It's like, it's just not including the Brian character in the equation because no one fucking likes him.
And when they're at this campsite, which has like hundreds of people at it, by the way, like this campsite in the world's biggest fucking forest frat party, if there was one character in this movie that I hated so much, hated more than any character from the first one or this one, it was that new girl who they have playing her best friend in this.
Oh.
To the point to where I don't know why they are friends. I don't know why this girl is here. They have this character in here who is... Every word out of her mouth is like a literal wet blanket pouring out of her tongue. Like every line of dialogue this girl has is, we shouldn't be here. You shouldn't have lied to your dad. We're gonna get in trouble.
She's... because all of these Tyler Perry movies have to have somebody who's like very like morally and ethically like charged to an insane degree.
This was way more than anyone in the first one. But this one...
Yeah, this was fucking...
I don't do shots. Go away. We need to go. Are you serious? I don't want to be... I don't do shots. I'm a Christian, which, first of all, fuck off.
Wow, I don't see the correlation there at all. Mm-hmm. It's like, nah, man, like, I don't really feel like going with you to IKEA. I'm a vegan. I'm buying chairs
I understand.
made out of balsa wood. I think you'll be fine.
At this point, the movie's turned into a slasher movie because there is the ring girl and two guys with chainsaws going around. So, yeah, okay, like, now it makes it, now usually there is a character in these stories that would be like maybe a little cautious or maybe is like the voice of reason. That's not this character. This character is just there to be just this two-dimensional, wet blanket, annoying, nagging. God, it made me feel sorry for Tyler Perry's daughter in this movie.
Like, she's a bitch, but at least she's, like, you know, okay in social situations.
Yeah, at least I could probably be around her for a few fucking minutes. This other girl, fuck me. Like, every line, just scoffing, fuck.
And like you said, like, it's even the sort of thing where in a different movie, she would be like, oh, she's reluctant to go, but once she's there, like, she's an invaluable asset. Like, it's like, oh, you guys didn't know about the murders? Let me break it all down for you. It's like, oh no, we're in a bind. What are we gonna do? And she'll be like the voice of reason. It's like we just gotta stay calm. We've got a few things here. We like make weapons or something. Like in this one, it's just like, the whole fucking time.
It's ridiculously annoying. It's easily the most aggravating thing about it. Because the other things in this movie,
like having a kid with you, like
it's this movie. That fucking kid.
Well, not that kid. He was loving this. He would have been on board with everything they were doing.
Yeah.
No, it's like when you see like those moms at the store who like they drag their kid along and you can tell that like they're like fucking like 8-year-old kid has no part of this and they're just like bitching and moaning and like kicking things on the shelf and like pushing things over, like just being generally a shithead. It's like that's this character, although they're like, it's like, yeah, but she's like 18 and foxy looking, so
like
we should give her a pass on that.
At least all the other annoying characters in this were like numb to at this point. Like as annoying as Hattie was in the first one, I'm numb to that now. She's just doing the same shtick. Yeah, it's annoying, and I can only understand 10% of her dialogue, but
it was
okay.
It was even worse this time.
It is way worse this time. It's so much worse this time. But again,
there are a few times where like the other characters make light of that. Like it's like, what the fuck's she saying? Like, oh, we gotta get in your car. Like,
because they did that joke in the first one, so they do it several times. Same with all the jokes about, like, you know that's a dude, right? And in the first movie,
yeah, we got it.
In the first movie, they kind of spaced those jokes out a little bit. In this one, they're, like, bunched right together just in the middle of the fucking movie. But, like a character like Hattie, like, at least, like, okay, I brace myself for that. I know she's in this movie, and she's doing the annoying shit she did in the first one.
And at least there was less of her in this one.
Yeah, kind of, but at least
she was there for more. She was in more scenes, but there was like in the last one, like there were more scenes that were devoted to like just her doing something.
Oh yeah, with like in this one they're all kind of like together.
Like they stay together. They stay together as like a core group.
But that girl, that wet blanket girl. Oh no, that was just like a fresh fucking sledgehammer to the face of fucking annoying. But again, you know throughout this whole thing that, like, that's not a demon girl that's chasing them, because we saw earlier in the fucking movie when Tyler Perry got a petting zoo for his daughter's birthday, which comes with 2 twin female jockeys. All right. And then once...
What, you've never ordered a petting zoo?
I guess not. Yeah, maybe that's just a thing. Like, but it has to be a thing here, because whenever the ring girl shows up several times in it, you know it's not an actual ghost or a demon that's chasing them. She moves her hair from her face. You can blatantly tell it's that fucking jockey. And the fact that they're twins, okay, yeah, now I know that's why they keep appearing in random places all the fucking time.
But then it also does make me wonder, though, with some of that, because...
Oh, are you going to get to the twist at the end?
Well, not even that. We'll save that. No, like, at a point, like after like the first couple times, like the little like ring looking ghost girl jockey shows up.
Yeah.
She, like, they're driving down the road, and then they see her standing by the side of the road, and then, like, 50 more feet ahead, they end up hitting her with the car. I'm like, okay, well, there's two of them. And then, like, they clearly, though, clip her with the side of a car.
Oh, yeah.
To the point that when they go out and look, there is blood on the car. It's like, they didn't... She definitely got hit by a car.
Well, not to mention the fact that Madea definitely puts her hand through Death's face. Like, okay, yeah, you could maybe argue, like, it's just like a tall costume, but it didn't look like it. It's like with the first one, when they try writing it off as a prank, going like, oh, they hacked the plumbing.
Yeah, it's like...
What?
Like, some of that doesn't work. Or, like, the fact that, like, it's like, oh, man, we're gonna prank her really hard. And then part of that prank was that guy wearing, like, the death costume going up and slashing her tires.
Oh, like, well, hell.
What a hilarious goof this is.
Dude, the first one had a prank where they put him on a bus to jail to go get raped. Like, by Huel from Breaking Bad in a co-ed jail. All right. This one, like, all right, yeah, it comes down to a prank where it's Brian and his friend who have set this whole thing up. And
along with just those two jockey girls.
Yeah, with the two jockey girls, they set this whole thing up to scare everybody and to, again, teach the girl a lesson, which she didn't learn her lesson in the first fucking movie. What the fuck makes you think she will in this?
She really didn't even seem like she learned anything in this one. She was mostly just pissed off that it was him.
Yeah, and also they're trying to teach the ex-wife a lesson, too.
And then, like, she was also pissed about the fact that it turned out that the reason people kept disappearing was... I don't know if they were just knocking them out, like what the fuck they were doing. Like they kept dragging people away, and then
the ending,
they're all in jail at the end. It's like, so do they knock them out and just drag them to the police precinct?
Which, by the way, is not acknowledged until
I got a drop off here.
Them all, like 50 people being in this jail cell, is not acknowledged until the camera sees it.
Yeah, they're in this precinct and they're filming it all one way. Like, just, like, keeping it real tight to, like, the sergeant's desk. And then we happen to get, like, a shot from the, like, this angle. You just see, like, everybody who's been in the movie so far is in jail. And they try to justify it as, like, it's like, but why did you arrest her? We're like, they all had drugs on them.
Oh,
shit. Every single person apparently had...
And they were trespassing.
They didn't even mention that as being why they were there. They all had drugs on them.
I love this jail too, by the way, because there's so many pictures on the wall that look like actors' headshots.
Yeah, it's like there's all these pictures around the room of just like it's like white men smiling. Mm-hmm. But it's like, who are they? Like there's no plaque or anything next to any of them. They're just mounted headshots. I can assume that they're probably all like, oh, how many producers are on this movie? Guessing there's one for each of them. Although that precinct too, like it had one thing that bugged the shit out of me. They fixed it when they went back the second time.
Of course they did.
But the first time we're at the precinct, up on the screen, there's a small windowed picture up on the screen.
Yeah.
Where it looks like a really generic, like Windows 95 looking terminal.
Yes.
But behind it, you can see, like, that it's, like, along the sides and everything, you can see the buttons for, like, oh, well, this is Windows 10, and there's, like, 50 different, like, Photoshop programs on the desktop in the background. It's like... So, the precinct here is also the editing bay. Like, the sheriff working on some of these special effects in his downtime. But then when they go back to the precinct later, they remember to, like, hit full screen to stretch out the
well, I mean, that was nice of them. Like,
view.
I'll commend him on that. Usually they don't correct their mistakes in these movies. I guess, except for, like, well, eventually you stopped seeing the shadow of the cameraman.
Like, it reminded me of, like, how, like, 10 years ago, a really common thing was, like, it's like, here, look, I've got a live feed of what's going on, and you can see like the little tracking bar at the bottom. Like, this is just fucking Windows Media Player. Like I can see in the corner the timestamp, like, oh, it's a minute, like minute 1:35 out of like a 2-minute clip. It's like, oh, better cut away from this before it ends.
I wish their lesson at the end was like Arrested Development, and like a guy's falls off, blood squirting out, and that's why you don't sneak out to camp with frat boys.
Turns out at least one person is actually dead.
You know what? I think that's what they were implying at the end of this movie, because, okay, everyone is still in the police station, and Brian and Tito Ortiz go walking out, and they're like, man, that was some good joshing. And then they're like, and that thing you did in the water, that was great. What thing in the water? You know,
I thought that was you.
What? I thought it was you. Huh? And then they leave. They leave like their kids and like everyone in the inside. Brian and Tito Ortiz they see the killer standing across the street with a chainsaw. They get all of this shit about teaching everyone lessons, and the second they see a killer with a chainsaw across the street, this dad, who I guess we're supposed to be rooting for, just gets in his car and leaves his daughter behind.
They fucking like Scooby-Doo run to get into their car and peel out and just leave like, okay, well, everyone they know and love is in the precinct.
Nope, we're out.
It's like, fuck that shit. I've seen how Halloween 5 ended.
Yeah. and then Uncle Joe goes up to the killer, and it's pretty much acknowledged that the guy he's talking to with the chainsaw is the killer that haunts this area. This guy in overalls and like a gas mask and a chainsaw, because like every other costume in this movie, what did they find at the local Halloween shop?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I was left going like, did people really die?
There are some of these people who are definitely in pieces in the woods.
I'm honestly, like, fine with that, because my criticism of the first one was like, it's just two idiots pranking each other. Like, the trailer made it look like it's zombies chasing after Madea, and then the movie's not. This one,
Psych is just a flash mob.
Yeah. And in this one, like, okay, I guess there's a killer there, but it's still, they still found a way for that to make no sense, because this movie is wildly worse than the first movie. And the first one is a hot plate of ass. And this one, like, I don't know if I should just completely respect this guy in that he finds there's no end to how he will surprise you. Like, it's preposterous.
He really tries to up the ante every time.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm really curious that that trailer we got.
It looked like it's with Taraji P. Henson. It's called Acrimony, and it's called Tyler Perry's Acrimony, so I'm assuming he's also writing it and directing it. But the trailer, like, it was a pretty well-cut trailer, and it's got Taraji P. Henson, so I leaned over to you and went, that just looks like a much better acted version of Temptation.
Yeah, well, and at first, because I haven't seen that trailer before.
Neither have I. That was the first time I got that trailer, too.
I thought maybe it was like trailer number 2 or something for like Proud Mary.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting that too. By the way, that looks awesome.
John Wick 3, except this time he's a black chick. But, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I don't know. He's got to get away from him somehow.
Yeah. That's right. I hope to God it's in the same universe.
From the trailer, it looks like it could be.
Honestly, yeah, I'll be shocked if it's not. But this acrimony thing, it's like she's being cheated on by her husband because Tyler Perry movie. But
it's like the one thing he knows how to do. Shitty Madea movies and infidelity.
But does he really know how to do them?
I didn't say anything about the quality.
But that's his comfort zone.
Yeah.
Infidelity. It's sometimes both. Sometimes both. I'm pretty sure
True.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman was, I think so anyway.
Let's say yeah. I'm not going to watch it.
Tyler Perry can combine the most preposterous thing. There's one Madea movie that that I seem to recall having incest in it.
Probably.
Oh, man. And so, but this was a fairly well-cut trailer, and it did emphasize the fact that it's got really good actors in it, but I'm sitting there going, like, I'm cautious about the quality of this film, despite this trailer, and that it's got a good cast.
Like, you can show me as many good actors that are in this as you want. It's like, because who the fuck was it that was in Temptation?
Was it Brandy? Brandy and Vanessa Williams, Kim Kardashian. Who was the main girl?
Was it Kerry Washington?
I think.
I want to say that it was.
Shit. I guess I could check my phone. We're not doing this live this time. Yeah, man, I can't remember.
Give me 1 second to check. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kerry Washington. Which, going by that is like again, like, it's not exactly like, like he has problems like finding good actors to be in his in his movies.
I mean, but then you got, like, shit like this where I think, like, 75% of it is, like, Instagram models and whoever makes up that fraternity.
Yeah. Okay, no, it wasn't Kerry Washington. It was, Journey Smollett Bell.
Okay. She was Judith.
Oh, I guess she's in that Underground show, which I think they canceled.
Judith!
But, like, he can manage to find some good actors and actresses.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that... Honestly, it doesn't mean anything.
I'm excited for this movie, though, because, like, because a Tyler Perry comedy is usually obnoxious to sit through. Now, a Tyler Perry drama, however, is fucking hilarious.
Well, and this one looks like it's a fucking, like thriller. It's like, if you combined, like, Temptation with When the Bow Breaks.
Yeah, and it's an R, too. But it looked like... The only reason I'm cautious about it is because it's got Tyler Perry's name to it. If I were to just see that trailer alone, without knowing who was attached to it, again, I'm only kind of assuming he's directing it, because it said Tyler Perry's Acrimony. If I were to just look at that trailer kind of in and of itself, I would think, like, this looks like a much better made, more well-acted, something like When the Bow Breaks, or... Unforgettable, or The Perfect Guy, or things like that.
Yeah, honestly, it reminded me too of, like The Perfect Guy.
Written and directed by Tyler Perry. He's back to doing drama. Yeah. They didn't know what trailers to put in front of this, by the way. We got, Insidious 4.
It was all over the fucking place.
Acrimony. They put The Star in front of it because Tyler Perry's a voice in it. So you got to see that trailer for the first time. With the talking animals during the birth of Jesus.
Which, that...
Man, that hair is up to no good. Yeah, that's a line.
It's like you're being a real Pontius Pilate right now. The animation, I mean, the writing was terrible, and the animation made it look like it was one of those movies you see, like on, like, the, like, point of purchase rack next to, like, the tabloids at, like, the fucking grocery store.
That's totally what it looked like.
It's like, it's like Gold Key Bible Adventures.
It's like it's like a step above that Barbie movie we went to go see. and maybe a little bit above, like, fucking Norm of the North, maybe a tiny bit.
It looked like one of those weird, like knockoffs of, like, a movie that you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no, like, it's like it's a fake version of, like Tangled. So it's like, oh, it's Rapunzel, but she has red hair, and it's called like Tousle.
Yeah. There was an Asylum Trolls knockoff. It's like Troll Land or something like that.
Yeah, it's like some shit like that. Like, that's how this looked. But then, then the cast list came up, and I was like, it's
Oprah,
fucking everybody.
Keegan-Michael Key, Tyler Perry, radio DJ Delilah is in this.
It's like, it's all over the fucking map.
So would you recommend Boo 2, a Madea Halloween?
I mean, if you're a Madea completionist...
Then why the fuck stop now? If you've come this fucking far, why stop? It would make just as much sense as us not going to these movies anymore.
It doesn't even make sense that we're going to them, but...
Oh, it does, because people will watch this shit. Man, like,
Fuck, man.
this movie is... When we did our worst movies of the year list last year, because fuck, the first movie took only 6 days to make. This one looked like it took 3. So of course they got
But it
this
probably
out
took
next
longer
year.
because they had to get everybody back to do all the
Yeah.
fucking edits.
Boo was on, the first one was on my worst list, but like near the middle or maybe in the bottom half. Man, this one is fighting for number 1 at this point. This is shockingly bad.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, I'm numb to it, like, sort of, but it doesn't take away from how much they're still fucking up in this film.
yeah, it's like, you're getting numb to it, but that doesn't mean that it's not still just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's like when you're putting together, like, your list at the end of the year, like, I know I'm going to be the same way. It's like, yeah, these other movies are bad in new ways I haven't seen before. I've seen all the fuck-ups this one's made. It's still just as bad.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
Like, it's not like I'm gonna be like, it's like, yeah, I put Boo on my list last year. I'm not gonna put the sequel. No, it's.
I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This movie it's like if someone wiped their ass with the first film. That is exactly what this is. You know what? If you loved the first movie, enjoy yourself. You'll like this one too. If you watch the first movie as like a bad movie and you get friends together and you're like you could do with most Tyler Perry movies, you'll get that out of this one too. Because again, same fucking movie, only worse. So yeah, you can still have like a bad movie night with this.
This was one I was hoping for a packed theater, but I was more bummed by the fact that there were still a couple people there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there was like maybe 3 fewer people there, I would have felt not bad about talking at full volume.
But dude, that kid who was in there,
But
like,
fuck yeah, like, the family behind us was just fucking into this movie, man.
That made me not feel guilty about leaning over to you and going, is it just me, or is this cheaper than the first film? Like, it made, yeah, because this kid was, like, man, like, it was like an entire packed audience in one kid. It's just weird. Like, so, like, I didn't feel bad leaning over to you, you saw that, right? You saw the cameraman, you're right, and you're like, no, I missed it. And I'm like, just give it a second. It'll be back.
They keep using the same 5 edits. They'll come back around in the cycle.
And it did.
Like, oh, there it is.
Fuck this movie, man. Like, this is so bad. Damn.
I'm glad that we only have to do these, like, once a year.
Yeah.
And honestly, I will say, like, I was kind of sad there for a little bit when it seemed like he stopped making movies after, like, he lost whatever, like, that tax loophole was that was making him, like, letting him make, like, a shitload of these.
No, it was it that, or was that what happened to Uwe Ball?
Well, that was definitely the case with Dr. Ball.
With in Tyler Perry's case, I thought, like, one of the main studios he was attached to, like, dropped him after Single Moms Club.
I think that was like the final nail in the coffin.
Right.
Well, and then like his studio, like his personal studio, he had like burned to the ground.
Oh God. Damn.
But he came back, baby.
Yeah, he came back, and I'm sure this movie will do well too, because it probably only cost about $6 to make.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure that the audience tonight probably already recouped its cost.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this movie will do well. Maybe there'll be a Madea 3 next year if they have 3 days to kill.
Because I can't assume that he makes fucking much off of these, because he makes them using his own production company. He writes, directs, and stars in it. Like
they turn in a profit.
I'm sure that he collects like the entire back end on this fucking thing.
I don't know. I mean, he's attached to Lionsgate.
Well, yeah. Now he's going through Lionsgate.
But they make a hell of a profit. Damn that studio interference in this one. We literally watched a TV edit.
All it was missing was like the fade outs.
Yeah.
To let you know when the commercial breaks come in.
Shocked it didn't have that.
Which I think it was Temptation that actually had fades in it.
Yes. I know there was one I saw that did that too. Probably Single Moms Club.
I want to say it was Temptation because it had like normal cuts, but then every now and again it would have like a fade. It's like, this is where the commercial is.
Yeah,
this is already edited to show up on Lifetime.
God damn. The R-rated version will show up in the secret stash. No, but going to bed early tonight. Any final thoughts about this? This movie's a colossal piece of shit.
Yeah, if you want to watch this for a laugh, you know what? The window from theater to like home video release is what, 3 months now? Mm-hmm. Wait 3 fucking months.
Or if you want that audience experience, don't see it on a weeknight. See it on like a Friday night or a Saturday night.
If you want to go for like a packed house, like definitely hit it up like tomorrow, or I guess today when you're watching this, it's probably gonna be.
Yeah.
Or like Saturday, like hit it opening weekend here. Mm. But
if you do want that, I would advise against it, because this is a shitty fucking movie, man. Like, damn. But again, like when we were texting back and forth, like sometimes you just gotta know. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta know what kind of shit is gonna be playing in there.
It's like sometimes whenever you're going through an intersection, you look over and at the next stoplight, it's like, oh fuck, somebody got hit. I'm on my way to work, but I mean, what's going around the block gonna hurt?
Yeah, what's a trip around the block gonna hurt?
It's like, you wanna fucking see. You gotta know. You know it's nothing good. You're gonna go by there's gonna be some dude with his arm all like fucking spaghetti and shit. It's like, oh fuck, now I gotta go to work and I gotta think about that shit all day. But it's like, I had to fucking know. That's this movie. Like, I just had to.
You got what you paid for!
Did we, though?
Damn. I got to use like $5 of my rewards, so... Alright. $5 off. Alright, well there's a couple other things out. Sometime over the next few days, I'll be, and probably into next week too, I'll be at like Geostorm and The Snowman and that Greg Kinnear religious movie. But I'm glad we got this one out of the way. This was another one of those times where they didn't know what I was talking about at the front desk. I was like, 2 for Madea Halloween, and the girl was like, what? I'm like, oh, maybe it's under, like, Boo 2, Madea Halloween. She's like, do you know what time it's at? And I'm like, 7, and I didn't see it up on the thing, and in my head, I'm like, I swear to God, if they, like, took down, like, the Thursday thing, I just want to get this over with. and the manager came up, was like, oh, no, there it is. And this has happened before, and I should have thought about this. It was under Tyler Perry. It still wasn't on the board, but like on computer, it was under Tyler Perry. It's like, oh, okay. And I literally went like, I was getting worried. I was like, man, I just want to get this movie over with. And the manager just started laughing. I forgot when I get tickets to a Tyler Perry movie, I just need to say his name.
Unless it's Alex Cross.
Yeah. Unless it's that. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.